Welcome back. Steve Price in for Peter Credlin on this Monday night. Joining me now, my panel for the night, Deputy Executive Director at the Institute of Public Affairs, Daniel Wild, and LNP Senator from Queensland, Senator James McGrath. Welcome to you both. Daniel, I talked to Chris Uhlmann about half an hour ago about the politics surrounding net zero. I understand that you're in Canberra for that vote, which will probably come around tomorrow. I know the IPA has been doing a lot of research out in the regions in the bush. I mentioned to James on Friday last week that I'd been out in central Victoria and seen the Golden Plains wind farm, which absolutely horrified me when I saw the impact on that region. What are the regions telling you about what they think might be coming down the pipe if we keep going along with this nonsense?
Well, regional communities are being devastated by net zero. I mean, you've sort of seen it up front, Steve, and I think everybody that sees what's happening has the same reaction as you do, which is you're horrified by it. I mean, not only is it ruining the landscape, but it's dividing communities. I mean, it's literally pitting neighbour against neighbour. And as you mentioned, I was here in Canberra today talking to a lot of the people from the regions that came for the vote today and for Barnaby Joyce's private members bill. And, you know, the reason why that's so important is there's now actually finally a debate on this topic. I mean, about 4 years on since Scott Morrison and Josh Frydenberg shamelessly signed our country up to net zero, there was no costings, there was no debate. People in the regions were not told this was going to be done to them. So finally we're having debate on this issue. I mean, the reality is that net zero is simply a nation-destroying policy, whether it's the regions, whether it's our energy bills, whether it's the social division that it's causing. So I already hope the impetus here in Canberra today is that there'll be more debate on this and that finally the coalition will dump this disastrous policy.
Senator, are you generally supportive of at least the debate being re-engaged with and the party to look at it under the stewardship of a couple of senior members? But do you largely support what we're talking about here, that we really need to question this again?
I think having a debate is a good thing. So I agree with Daniel on that. And I think as a coalition, as the Liberal Party and the National Party, we should be able to disagree with each other and agree to disagree. So I think this is a good thing. I don't think people should be surprised or shocked by it. You know, the press gallery here have been running around on steroids today going, oh, it's terrible, there's a debate going on in the coalition. Yeah, so what? That's a good thing. And the process that Susan and David have set up under Matt Canavan and Dan Tehan is a good one to make sure that both parties get to whatever agreement's going to be, remembering that there are different views, strongly held views on both sides. We'll get to a landing sooner rather than later, because I want to put the focus, as Chris Uhlmann said earlier, I want the focus to be back on Chris Bowen and back on Labor and all the damage they're doing to this country, rather than us talking about ourselves. But let's put the focus on Labor and their allies, the Greens.
You're a senator for a huge state and a minerally rich state. What are Queenslanders telling you about, I mean, I call Chris Bowen the mad uncle, but about this rush down this road to what many people think could be ruination, where we used to have the cheapest power in the world and now our power bills are going through the roof? What are Queenslanders telling you?
Well, Queensland's very proudly a coal state, and we want to make sure that our coal is used to power our electricity stations here or there in Queensland. I'm in Canberra now, but also that our coal can be exported overseas as an export earner for my state and for the country. And speaking as someone who lives in regional Queensland, out in the Darling Downs, I can tell you that these reckless renewables are not popular with locals. And you look at what the state government under David Crisafulli and Jared Blay have done in relation to calling in and making sure that some of these large projects actually are not proceeding, especially in central Queensland, is a good thing. If we've got coal underground, we should be using it to power our homes and our businesses.
Daniel, the other debate that's now well and truly underway involving Senator Pauline Hanson is this query about welcome to country. I think we're probably going to all be in fairly in agreeing with each other very vigorously. It's too much. I don't mind a welcome to country where appropriate, but it's just become ridiculous where you're having it at an office meeting or, you know, we've got to somehow rein this in, and even Indigenous Australians are saying that it's lost any of its value.
Well, that's right. I couldn't agree with you any more, Steve, on that. And we did some polling on this recently, and it showed even just 1/3 of Australians think it should even be done at major events like sporting events. So even that's losing its sort of appeal that it has. And the problem here is that it's divisive and also become very aggressive. I mean, when was the last time you felt welcomed by Welcome to Country? I don't feel welcomed by it. It's an activist tool to make us ashamed of our country and to demean and demoralise us as a nation. Australians do not want it. It's gone too far. 60% of us voted no to racial division with the voice to Parliament. Yet many of these practices, whether they're welcome to country or acknowledgement of countries, are more ubiquitous than ever. Every time a plane lands, every sporting match you go to, almost every single school assembly, every single board meeting has these meaningless gestures that are meant for these inner city types to feel good about themselves. Of course, it does nothing for the poverty that many Indigenous Australians experience in the outback. And like I say, it's become divisive, and I think it's time to get rid of it. Just stop the practice and let's unify around our shared values rather than doing things that divide us.
Senator McGrath, it seems Labor's going to push ahead with its change to superannuation for superannuation funds worth over $3 million and tax unrealised profits, which is highly unpopular. There was some research done by Wilson Asset Management saying, you know, it might cost Labor some seats. I'm not quite sure about that. You're going to have to debate this in the Senate. I get a sense that the Greens are probably going to do some trading with the Labor Party over a number of issues and probably back this in the end. If that happens, then this change goes through, doesn't it?
The Greens, of course, will end up backing this because the Greens like higher taxes and they don't like productive Australians. But it is the Labor Party who are the ones we should be really worried about because this is going to set a precedent. It does two things. First, it is the taxation of unrealised gains, and that should send a shiver through everyone watching the program tonight because the precedent that sets in terms of what else they can come after is a worry. But secondly, they're making sure that it isn't indexed. So this means that eventually most Australians, we're talking decades down the track, will be captured by this. Look, most Australians don't have $3 million in their super balances, but guess what? They would love to have $3 million in their super balances. This is an attack on aspiration. We've got a Treasurer who wants to do a productivity roundtable in a few weeks' time. Well, what message is he sending to Australians who do engage in making this country better, the businessmen and businesswomen and the farmers who invest their money into the super funds? Well, what message is he sending to them? Oh, I'm going to double your tax. Be very, very afraid, Australians. Labor are going to come after you after they do these super accounts over.
Yeah, and I suspect the fix is in already on that round table. They probably decided what they want to do. They'll just get there in there for the cameras, and we're going to find out that Australians are going to be paying more tax going into the future. Daniel James, thank you very much for your time tonight. Appreciate it. Coming up after the break tonight, the controversial Kumbaya therapy, which is being proposed to deal with school bullying of youngsters, plus SAS